Caitlin Brower, and I'm a Harding Physician Assistant student. Today I'm going to present a presentation over organ donation that was prepared by myself and 3 other PA students, Annalise Gonzalez, Kobe Stevens, and Dayton Parrish. Pretty soon, most of you will be preparing to get your driver's license, and some of you may already have it. A decision you'll have to make, and some of you may have already made, is if you want to be an organ donor. Today, I'll present on organ donation and what this entails. On behalf of my group, we would like to thank you for taking the time to listen and participate in this short survey. Before continuing any further in this video, please sign the participant consent form and have your parent or guardian sign the parent consent form. When you are done with that, please go and take the pre-survey. Once you're finished, you may continue from this point. Now that you've taken the pre-survey, you will listen to the rest of this video and then take the post-survey. First off, let's discuss what is organ donation. Organ donation is the process of removing a human organ from one being, the donor, and transferring it to another being, the recipient, via surgical intervention. This can happen between 2 live persons or after the donor's death. Basically, you're taking one organ from a person and putting it into another person who needs it. There's multiple organs that can be donated to somebody. Just to name a few, they include heart, lung, liver, pancreas, intestines, eyes, skin, and even more. What type of people benefit from organ donation? There are many medical conditions that can progress and lead to a person needing an organ transplant. Some diseases such as cystic fibrosis, heart failure, chronic kidney disease, hepatitis, lupus, or Crohn's disease may lead the person to needing an organ transplant. While you may not know somebody now with a disease like that, you may in the future. A new organ may be all they need to live a longer life. Your decision to become an organ donor could help save somebody's life. Here's a few statistics for you. As of March 2020, there were over 112,000 people, including children, on the national transplant waiting list. In 2019, 39,718 transplants were performed. That's 39,718 life-saving transplants that would not have been made possible without willing organ donors. Sadly, however, 20 people die each day waiting for an organ transplant. And the list continues to grow. Waiting lists for organs, including the top 4, which are kidney, liver, heart, and lungs, have gotten longer due to new evaluative measures of transplant centers and the growing need for more donor-specific matching data. The result have been an increase in both wait times and number of organs being thrown out each year. For example, in 2007, there were 49,102 people on the waitlist for a kidney, and in 2017, there were 96,337 people on the waitlist. In 2007, there were 1,407 people on the waitlist for a new heart, and in 2017, there were nearly 4,000 people. The list continues to grow, and without more willing organ donors, there's not a chance to reduce that number. What can you do to become an organ donor? One organ donor can save up to 8 lives. One person who is an organ donor could have up to 8 life-saving organs, including a heart, 2 lungs, liver, pancreas, 2 kidneys, intestines, and so much more. So when you get your driver's license, you'll be asked if you want to be an organ donor, which, again, some of you may have already gone through this. If you decide to become an organ donor and have an Arkansas driver's license, this is what it will look like once you get your official driver's license in the mail. But don't just take it from us. Watch along as Kevin shares how receiving a new pair of lungs changed his life.
Get new lungs, Kevin. You're getting new lungs.
No way! No way! Mom, not tonight! No, Mom, stop it.
Yeah. Kevin, they called. You're getting new lungs.
No way! No way!
You're getting new lungs.
No way! Stop it! Stop it, man!
You're getting new lungs.
No way! Tonight! Not tonight, this morning.
This morning?
This morning.
Yeah.
It was pure disbelief.
Disbelief.
No way!
Yeah.
No way! No way!
It sounded real this time. The other times, it didn't sound as real or as promising. This one sounded real. I got up right away. My oxygen fell off, and I just remember being totally shocked.
was going up and up in oxygen, so he couldn't really move. He was on the couch kind of all day. He was living with me downtown, independently, living very well off. And then he got hit with like a brain injury.
My whole half of my brain bled. I coughed so hard that a vessel burst.
It really sidetracked him. His lungs started to deteriorate after that, which put him on the lung transplant list. We want more people to get the gift of life like Kevin Scott.
No way! No way! Big day! Journey when? But I know where to start. We're my new lungs, baby!
This is his third time around.
My goodness. Fantastic.
Three times.
He got some good lungs there.
3 times.
And I know.
Now he's completely off oxygen, and he's able to move around. We're excited to kind of get him back to where he was. He even talked about moving back downtown.
It means a whole new life, you know? It's like I'm starting from scratch.
All I can say is thank you to that precious family. It speaks to his determination, and it speaks to his bravery, and it speaks to his strength.
So when you see him running down the street, slow down.
Right, no oxygen. Look at this guy. It is a miracle.
It's like a rebirth for me.
You may be wondering why me and why registering to be an organ donor is important. For starters, there's more than 112,000 candidates on the U.S. national waiting list for a life-saving organ transplant. When looking at the age disbursement, 2 out of 3 are over 50, and almost 2,000 of these candidates are under the age of 18. Statistically speaking, about 59% are from ethnic minorities. In the United States, only 60% of the adult population are registered to be organ donors. This is important because the more people that are registered to be organ donors, the more lives that can be saved. If you're interested in becoming an organ donor, make sure you take the extra steps and register. About 90% of the U.S. adult population supports organ donation. However, only 60% of them have actually signed up to be organ donors. Organs are needed every day for people in need. Every 10 minutes, there is another person added to the national transplant waiting list. Viable organs are hard to come by. Only 3 in 1,000 people die in a way that allows their organs to be viable for donation. Transplantable organs are few and when we need many. The more organ donors there are, the more chances we have to give people organs with our own organs are no longer needed by us. I know it may be hard to think about now that something could happen to take our life, but at least parts of us that we no longer need could help to save others. So how do you register? There are a few ways to register to be an organ donor. The majority of organ donors, when they get their driver's license, is when they register. You can also register on your driver's license at any time. There is also a way to sign up at organdonor.gov. If you want to be an organ donor, make sure to let your family know your wishes so that they may be an advocate for you if an unforeseen event happens. If any of you are interested at all in becoming an organ donor, I encourage you to go home today and speak to your parents to have a discussion about it. There are some myths and misconceptions about becoming organ donors. Together, we're going to discuss a few of them. First is the myth, if I register to be an organ donor, then my family will have no say in what happens to my organs after I die. That is not true. While you are under the age of 18, your parents or guardian may make the ultimate decision about donating your organs. After you're 18, both your organ donor status and your family wishes will be taken into account. Another myth is if I do not register to be an organ donor, then I cannot save another life after I die. This is not true either. If you discuss with your family about organ donation and decide that you would want to take the step to save another life, then you and your family can make the decision with your doctors after your death. There is a misconception that if you have a medical condition, then you cannot be an organ donor. Again, this is not true. Anyone, regardless of health status, can sign up to be an organ donor. After a person passes away, then the transplant team ultimately decides how the organs are relocated and if they're viable for transplantation. You may be wondering if you can only be an organ donor after you have passed away. Several organs such as kidneys, livers, bone marrow, and plasma can be donated while the donor is still alive. If this is something that is of interest to you, you can go to beamatch.org for more information about bone marrow donation. If you're interested in becoming an organ donor, there are some excellent additional resources about becoming an organ donor and what it entails. Before registering to become an organ donor, we encourage you to talk to your parents. And here are the evidence-based resources we used to create this presentation. We hope your understanding of organ donation has grown after this presentation, and that you may all have more interest in becoming organ donors and talking to your parents about it. Now that you have completed this video, you may go take the post survey. Again, we thank you for your time.